Welcome to Team Untapped Book Club episode 10. Yay! We made it to 10 episodes. Whee!
Chapter 10. Wow.
Woo!
So we've been, 10 weeks into this already?
Yeah, that's 2.5 months
Yeah.
already. Wow.
Mm.
And we finally have Ray back.
Yay.
Welcome back, Ray. All
Oh, it's a
right.
good break.
Oh, um, you guys
Yeah.
can do me a small favor and check out the Twitch chat because I added the Twitch chat onto our main screen, so YouTube will actually see uh, our chat on the main screen now. Yay!
Oh,
So
oh,
yay, the chat will be visible on YouTube.
Oh wow.
So we can answer questions from the chat now. Yay! Okay, so let's get into today's chapter, shall we? Right before we begin, let's go through some of the ground rules as always. So, yay! The book we are reading is Grit by Angela Duckworth, and we are now 10 chapters in. Yay! So, a
Yay.
couple of reminders before we start the fun. Okay, um, polite questions from the audience to the book are always welcome. Okay, so please, those of you guys who have any questions while we are on the live stream, go ahead. You can type it in our chat. Just ask us directly. Uh, no, you cannot WhatsApp me your questions. Okay, I can't read my WhatsApp while on stream. Okay. Number two, discussions may be deep and come from any angle, so try to be as open as you can from everyone. We will try not to slam the slammer on anybody who is not being open. But yeah, maybe we can have a segment where we put someone in the slammer for not being open to receiving ideas, right? Okay, number three. Examples may or may not be from personal experiences, so please don't attack them because that's not a fun way to treat people. All right. uh, okay, so that's it for the reminders and welcome to chapter number 10. Chapter number 10 starts the new part, the new section of the book where we are growing grit from the outside in. Okay, so before this, we were talking about growing grit from the inside, and a lot of things were mentioned that, oh, it depends on the environment. So that's why chapter 10 starts the section where we talk about the environment that is suitable to grow grit from. Okay, and today we start the first chapter in there, parenting for grit. Now, when I was reading this chapter, right, I was like, you know, I have to admit, I have to be very honest here. Right? I was going through a mental list of, my parents didn't do this, my parents didn't do that, my parents didn't.
Uh, oh, poor parent.
Yeah, so it was like, yeah, my parents didn't do this, so maybe that's why I'm not successful.
Oh wow.
Uh, yeah, I think at some point in our young adulthood, and we realize we are not hitting the milestones as suggested by society. We start to question: is there something wrong with us? And of course, the first culprit that we point our fingers to is our parents,
Right, right.
which is normal, which is normal. But
That's
having said that,
Yep.
as I was reading through the chapter, I didn't go through a mental checklist of what my parents didn't do because I already know what their parenting style was. The parenting style is like, and so it's like that. I come to accept it. Now it's looking forward to the future, towards if we were to become parents, then what are the pointers that we can learn from this chapter? And of course, there are some things that are definitely out of my comfort zone, but probably we will discuss it as we go through the chapter.
All right. So, I'm hoping that you guys can hear me. Uh,
Be clear.
Very
right?
clear.
Because As you can see, I got a new mic. It's blocking my face. Ah.
Yeah, if you do that, then it does block your face.
So,
Guys, do let me, and also let me know if you can hear me or not. As I said, my microphone is cranky, so yeah, please bear with it.
all right, right now we can hear you loud and clear, Ray. It's great to have you back, especially for this chapter, since we're all preparing to become parents, aren't
We
we?
better stay that way, this microphone. Aren't we parents to some degree, to some people, either to our subordinates or even to some friends, or even to our own parents when you think about it?
Yeah, like in certain sense of the
You think
word,
about?
right? We are parents to a lot of people out in this world right now, and this world has definitely a shortage of good parents. But that begets me the first question of this chapter, right? Which is, we talk a lot about grit, okay, and how grit is like this fun thing to do, right? So now the question is, do we really want to parent for grit? Do we really need to like get our kids all gritty early on in their childhood, or do we want to just let them have their childhood? You know, it's like if we start talking about grit, when do we start talking about grit? Do we want to start talking about grit when they are like 1 year old, 2 year old? Or do we start parenting for grit when they're like 16 years old? You know, what do you guys think?
Well, for starters, I think we can start reading about grit and practicing it when we are already incubating in our wombs, you know. So it starts from there.
That's
From a
early.
cigarette. And the thing about it, the mother has a lot of grit to carry for the next 9 months. So the grit has already started there when you think about it. Correct or not? When you look at it from that perspective.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think it already started from there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Really, it does. You know, it's like, wow. The mom has to start being gritty from really the get go. You know.
Yep.
It's way too
Hopefully
young.
that gets absorbed.
It's like an infusion of grit
Yeah.
via
Well, they
text.
did say baby in womb can experience whatever the mom is feeling, so
Mm.
Yep. So
So it
mummy
starts
bet
from there.
mummy can start reading grit and
Start being and already is gritty.
yeah, man, and already is gritty. Yeah, think about it, right? But do you really want to start your kids being gritty so early on? Like, do you really want to put them through the trials early on in their life? I recently came across a podcast that was very interesting. It says, nowadays we no longer have a ritual for boys to become men. Okay,
Mm.
so because of that, boys and by extension, okay, no, it's not limited to just boys, girls as well, okay, do not have a proper transition from childhood to adulthood. And because of that, there's a lot of like childish adults in the world, you know, because nowadays, becoming an adult, like what what signifies that you're an adult? You know, as long as last time it was like, oh, you got your driver's license, you're an adult now, you know, you're responsible for driving people around. But nowadays, that's not really happening. I
Okay.
I know a friend who didn't have his driver's license until he was 33, you know. So, yeah, it's not really happening the way it should. So, wait, technically that does mean that he's only an adult after 33, right?
well, if you
Well,
make it like that, yeah.
yeah, if the culture that he grows up in stipulates that to be an adult you need to have a driver's license, then yeah, by definition that's what an adult is. But in other cultures, I don't think having a car or driver's license even is necessary to be an adult. Like I know in Japan, for instance, to actually learn driving and get a driver's license, it's actually very expensive.
Mm.
I don't know how much it is, but I was told that it is actually very expensive, and many who take up driving, got the license in the end, ended up becoming paper drivers. That means they don't drive at all. They just have the license there as a form of ID for them. But
It's like a
yeah, but that's their
formality.
culture. Yeah, that sort of thing. Anyway,
Okay,
back to the question.
Tika,
What
we
was
are
your
looking
question
at you
again?
now.
What?
What?
Whenever anyone talks about paper driving license, it goes like, Tika, we're looking at you now.
Yeah, I do drive, okay?
Yeah, ticket
Right.
right.
Okay,
I just
so
don't drive as often as you guys.
Neither
no,
do I.
no, you can't compare to driving like me, man. That's if you drive like me, you'll be insane. Whoa, what's
Anywho,
this buzzing noise? Okay, I'm not sure why my mic's buzzing, but if it
it's okay
sounds
on this
funny,
side.
let me know. Okay.
Mm.
All right. So everyone seems to be agreeable that we start parenting for grit. I like your example that we start from the womb, right?
Because in this case, the mother has no choice to see but to put up with everything for 9 months. That takes great.
Yeah, man, that takes a lot of grit. So,
Okay, lah, to be fair, the father also, lah, because the father will be putting up with the mother.
oh
for
yeah,
the, with all the
oh
mood
yeah.
swings, hunger pang. Then it's like, I can't bend down to pick this pick up for me. I can't walk upstairs. But,
Oh well, I know a friend who's not pregnant and still has problem going upstairs. So,
oh, okay.
uh, so yeah. Anyway, so let's move into the next question then. I mean, if we are all agreeable on actually having our kids have grit, then the book actually asks us, right, which method is best for grit, tough love or coddling love? What do you guys think?
I I think it's about balance. It all comes down to that. You can't have too much of either one. So there has to be a boundary set to how much can you coddle and how much how demanding you can be on your child, and bearing in mind what are your own principles and values as well. And when it comes down to your own babies, is it? For me personally, there's got to be
A little bit of what?
a little bit of both. That means on one hand, you can be the wise, demanding parent. On the other hand, and on the other extreme, you can also be a bit more loving. There are
So
times you can indulge a bit, I suppose, but there you need to be very clear on what the borderline is or the boundary, which is
mm-hmm.
not easy, by the way.
Yeah, it's
Getting things in balance is never easy. You might
yeah,
either swing to one end.
balance is always hard. But I knew that you were gonna say something like why not both, so I actually had a slide for this. Why not both?
So it's called hybrid. Hybrid parenting.
So you use half physical parenting and half electrical parenting.
What? Okay, that I didn't expect that, but never mind.
That was a hybrid vehicle, electric vehicle reference. I'm sorry.
Oh, the eco car they call it.
Yeah, that Nissan Leaf thing, you know.
Yep.
but but it's true. So then the question is why not both, right? And um I I don't know. I looked at the chapter, and Angela actually gave us like two examples, right? One was Steve Young
Um,
and
Yep.
Francesca
Yeah.
Martinez,
Martinez.
right? I like her name. Am I saying it right? Francesca
Martinez.
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 It's like
The
her
short
name.
form is Martin.
Short form is Martin.
Yeah. The short form for Martinez is Martin actually.
No, but Francesca Martinez's short form would be like what? Fran. So you go like,
Fine.
Miss Fine.
And Fan Martin.
And
We are all old enough to appreciate that one. That's so nice. So why not both? But the examples given, right? Steve Young was really an example of tough love, okay? And when we look at Francesca Martinez, it doesn't really look like coddling love to me. It really looks like the term, what's the word for it? It's called like uh, parenting from afar. It's like her parents are like, you want to do A B C D E? Yeah, sure, do whatever you want, right? But they don't really coddle her, you know. They don't really go up to her and go like, oh, you did this? No, this person is bad. I'm gonna go tell this person off, you know. Like, I'm not sure if you guys seen this growing up, but I feel that this was an example of coddling love taken to a very serious extent, in my opinion. Okay, what happened was the parents, okay, uh, the baby would fall down, right, and knock its head on the floor or chair or a table, right, and the parents go like, oh, are you okay? Does it hurt? Oh, that was a bad chair, right? That was a bad table, right? That was a bad floor, right? And I'm like, what the heck are you teaching your kid? What in the world is a bad floor?
I saw that once actually.
If anything, it should be bad baby, you know? It's like the floor's just sitting there minding its own business and this baby just comes plop on it, you know?
How would you console the baby then?
I don't know. I actually don't know. Like, I'll probably go like, oh, don't worry, it's just pain. You will go away after a while. Pain always goes away after a while. So just don't worry, you'll get over it, you know? I don't know.
It's a baby.
I would say that to my baby, like, oh, it's just pain. Don't worry, get over it. It will go over after a while. Just wait. Okay? If you feel like waiting by yourself is very painful, very lonely, come. I'll wait with you, you know?
Oh, that's so sweet.
Kenji is still softer than Tika and Ray. Oh, my mic's still soft.
Oh.
I thought he meant softer as in
Oh, oh,
So he
oh.
was
Oh, Kenji's so cute. Like,
like, oh, that's so sweet. I'll wait with you until the pain goes away. Then we go have to put ice cream.
yeah, man. Like, you know, that's I think that if you tell the baby, as it's growing up, that pain goes away, then the baby won't feel so like estranged to pain. You know, it's like, oh, pain is such a bad thing. No, pain goes away, right? It doesn't have to be with you all the while, right? It will come, it will go. You know, pain is part of life, right? The only time you don't feel pain is when you're dead. So, you know, you have to live with it.
Pain.
So that's isn't that part of the wise parenting already? It's like pain is part of life, son. Suck it up. It's not permanent. So you just put up with it for 10-20 minutes, you grit your teeth, then you go away. But it still hurts though. Of course it hurts. But it will hurt less and less.
It's like pain is pain, but it will go away. Just like your lunch
won't
was
last.
lunch, it will still go away. I'm sorry, bad example.
Nice.
I was trying to I was trying to reference, like, you know, when you eat your lunch, yeah, it will go away, you know. It's like, oh no, my cookies disappeared. Where'd it go? In your tummy.
You ate.
They are a part of you now, just like how you are part of the universe.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, so but that's what I've seen, right? When people try to do both, it gets weird. Like how do you do both? How do you go from standing up for your kid, like, hey, don't go bully my kid, okay? To, no, you need to get this done, you know? You need to actually go out there and get this done. What do you guys think? How do you transition from both?
Taking example from my cousins, I have many cousins who are already parents, right? They kind of employ both types of parenting. One of them, the mom is usually the coddling type, the dad usually the tough type. So it's easy for them, to teach.
Balance out.
Yeah, so it doesn't like mixed up and everything. But then there are times that you can see the children are more how to say close to the mom because they are the coddling type. And then they don't actually like to go to the dads because yeah, he's kind of strict.
Mm.
Ow.
Yeah, but then I think my cousin right now is trying to improve that by playing a lot, spending lots of time with the kids. Playing with them, maybe like I can be strict, but I can be like, a loving father kind of style. So
Nice.
yeah.
Hmm.
Nice. So
Good observation.
he's trying to be strict and playing with them at the same time. Mm.
Mm.
No, I read the chapter, and then there was this part by in 1928 they had this book, like how to take care of your kid, by this psychologist John Watson or something.
Is it the first one, the one with no cuddling or anything
Yeah,
like that?
yeah. The
Yeah, no
parenting guy
following.
was like, whoa, this one, the John
Baby.
Watson, I think. Yeah, John Watson. It was like, never hug and kiss them. Never let them sit in your lap. If you must, kiss them once on the forehead when they say goodnight. Shake hands with them in the morning. Give them a pat on the head if they made an extraordinarily good job of a difficult task. I'm like, wow. That
Sound like a
sounds like my mom.
It's actually very, it's actually very, you know, the Edwardian back in the 1800s. It's like, I think it kind of takes ideas from that because I watched a documentary once, and in an Edwardian household, parents tend to be strict, but they are also kind. So I think the principles might have come from there. But then don't quote me on this. I could be wrong also. Yeah. So it's
No,
not. I've heard of such methods before where you can be
I,
tough
I
with kids. Aren't Asian parents like that? When you think about
yeah,
it?
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Like the only thing that's missing from here is remember to cane them whenever they do something you don't like.
Yes.
Atika's gonna spit her coffee.
Well, growing up with my parents, I don't recall them being. I don't recall them ever hugging, kissing, or showing any displays of public affection to me or my sister. Maybe toddler wise, then yes, but heck, no one remembers anything that happens during their toddlers. Everything is all captured through photographs anyway. So, oh, that means, oh, they did kind of hug me and were affectionate around me. But when I turned 4, 5, or 6, then I think there were none of that. I grew up from
Yeah, I mean
that kind of
it
style.
would be very weird if you remember how it felt like being breastfed, right? As you were
I think
growing
my
up.
mom. I think my mom caned me more than hugged me. Yeah, I think it's the same for most Asian kids as well. We feel the stick
Caning.
more than the kisses and hugs. In fact, I don't think there's any kisses or hugs growing up.
I don't think I've received any kisses from my mum that were not forced. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean like I remember growing up as a kid looking at other parents hugging and kissing their
Ah, yes.
kids and going like, "Oh my god, that guy's so soft. Like what the heck is wrong with you? Why do you need your mom to hug and kiss you? Be a man, dang it." I'm sorry.
I had a weird childhood.
I
It's like the
think
hug and kisses are like a punishment to boys now.
I think we all. Well, what about you, Tika? Because your parents are your teachers. So what was
Yeah.
upbringing like?
And what do you
um,
mean by hugs and kisses are punishment? Like
no,
elaborate on
no,
that.
no, because like I still remember when we were sending my brothers to boarding school, right? So my brother is like trying to look tough. I am in all boys school. I need to look tough, else people will like trample on, bully him and stuff like that. Then before we left, my mom would be like, "Come, hug me first, kiss me first." And my brother would be like, "No, no,
Mom,
no."
no, you're embarrassing me.
Yeah.
No, get away from me.
And then like my brother was like, okay lah, reluctantly like give his pee, right? And then my mom would be like, no, both side. Uh,
He's like cringing at it.
and then all his senior was like looking at him from far. I'm like, oh, okay.
Mr. Mummy's boy, Habis.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
But
that'll be our next ragging target, boys. Get ready, the soap.
yeah, but then again, my brother was big that time, so he wasn't bullied, but he was scouted as a rugby player. So
He can sit on
Wow.
he can sit on you lah. You bully him.
Yeah, maybe the coach was like, "Oh,
Wow.
this guy kisses and hugs his mom. He's soft enough."
Or
yeah, but it's
rather a guy
rugby.
or rather a guy that hugs and kisses his mom isn't a bad guy after all. He has a heart. Yeah. So it can be seen both ways actually. Depending on what the stereotype idea is, the guys that do that either they're too soft or they are actually tough, but they have a tender side. And women like, ha ha.
Yeah, do women actually have this problem? Like, do you guys actually have this problem about hugs and kisses?
My parents never hug me on so
Sorry, what?
I
they don't.
My mom likes to hug people.
My dad keeps saying he's a Chinaman. I don't do hugs. I don't do kisses.
Wow.
It's a Chinaman that is banana. So like yeah, sure. But yeah, he did say that only. Hey, I'm a Chinaman. I don't hug and kiss. I'm not like the Westerners.
Wow.
Same like my dad. My dad rarely does hug. I mean, like hug or kisses, right?
I don't know.
When
Yeah.
I was young,
Yep.
Yeah, go on.
Yep.
my dad doesn't do hugs. He never caned me also, but he always like threatened me with the cane. He will like lay down all the cane from like thick based on thickness, right? And then ask, "Hey, choose which one you want." And I'll be like, I don't want to choose.
I'm like, choose which
Yeah.
one you want. I want the table.
Yeah. Cannot. My table at home is like super big, man.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to see him lift that up, you know. And when he can't lift it up, I'll be like, look, you couldn't lift it up. You can't smack me with it. So stick with that.
Wow, so defiant.
Oh no, I grew up in a school where canings happen publicly daily, hourly even sometimes. So yeah, you learn how to dodge the cane, right? You have to learn how to dodge the cane. Oh, welcome Hidayah. Glad you could
Hello,
join
Hidayah.
us. All right. So okay, but I think
What's the question? I guess.
all these are interesting, right? But if we look at the story of Steve Young and Francesca, right? I find that Steve Young is the one that gets coddled. Like he's like, no,
Yeah.
I don't want to go to school because I'm afraid. And then his mom actually sits in school with him. Like
Yeah, that's
I was like,
separation.
what? Like what? What's your problem, boy? Like you're like that's like the literal definition of mama's boy, you know?
That's exactly how my brother was when he was in the kindergarten. My mom has to sit next to him.
Wow. I'm not sure if I was like that when I was in kindergarten though.
I
Interest.
remember.
Yep. Okay,
No,
go
I
on.
remember because I had to sit outside the kindergarten waiting for my mom.
Oh. Okay. I don't think I ever suffered from separation anxiety, which is the good thing about me. Although I was very quiet in class, lah, according to the teacher. But yeah. But it makes me concerned. Like, let's say if your kid does have separation anxiety, then what would be the gritty way of handling that situation? Like Kenji, you said that if the mother has to sit there and stay with the child until the child is calm, then only she can leave. Then what if that is the coddling way? Then what would be the gritty way? No, you stay there, and I'll pick you up when
Oh,
school is
Oh,
done.
this one, this
I will
one,
chain
this
you there if
one.
I need to.
Oh, this one. My mom has the best method, man.
oh,
Like seriously. So okay. One of the things that everybody says about Kenji is like how he's gritty and how he's a bookworm, right? And I personally think that they both go hand in hand. This is just my opinion, of course. Because when I was 2 years old, my mom shoved a book in my hands already. Like I've started reading since I was two, like less than two. I would start reading. My mom would read me storybooks when I was like one ish, all the way until like I was two, and then she would start asking me to read it by myself. And then by the time I was four, she could leave me in the corner of her office with a book, and I will not bug her unless I need to pee or poop or get hungry. Like,
Okay, I might apply. Can I apply that method?
yeah, like even sometimes
Oh,
I don't even get hungry because I'm reading the book. I'm so engrossed in the book, I don't even feel like I'm hungry. So,
better better to have a book than to be playing iPad or the phone all day at that age.
um, uh, personally, I think they are both equally addictive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because,
I bet it is.
yeah, I started wearing glasses at the age of 6, because I would be reading books all the way into the night with the light on. Like I would read for hours until the sun rises and I'll be still reading. So yeah, all things in moderation, I suppose.
All things in moderation. That's where the other parenting must come in and say, "Hey, go and sleep."
Oh, I cannot even begin to describe the amount of times I got caned, whipped, belted, hangered because
Yep.
I was reading all the way late into the night. I'm like,
I don't kena
yeah.
hang or cane. I
But
recall
for
what
all
you
those
did.
kids out there
Wait.
listening to our YouTube channel or watching on Twitch, right? All those kids out there, take it from an old man, okay? If you don't want to feel like an old man when you're 35, please sleep early. God dang it, please just sleep early, alright? Because if you don't sleep early, you're gonna end up pooping blood every other day. You're gonna end up having aches all over your body. You're gonna end up. I I'm feeling like every bit 60 years old as a 60-year-old will right now. Like yeah. So yeah,
Like,
please sleep early, man.
okay.
I'm sorry. Was that too much
I think
info?
we just, I think we just went off tangents. It's like
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what were we talking about? We talking about Steve Young being murdered by
So
his mother.
so that was Steve Young, right? And then
Yep.
after that, if you look at like Francesca, which is uh Angela's example of less discipline. I mean, yeah, Steve Young's dad was like,
No, you don't come home because I will not have a quitter in my house, right?
Yeah.
but if we talk about Francesca, right, then it's like very different.
Sounds like very, hippie kind of style parenting.
Unorthodox.
Unorthodox, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe like you can do whatever you want.
I don't know about unorthodox. I think like I don't know. It's like um they can do whatever they want within reason, you know what I mean?
There are boundaries set, in other words. It's
Yeah.
not like totally boundless. They do there are some rules lah. The unorthodox part comes when, you know, a lot would I don't think a lot of parents would want their kids to drop out of school. In this case, Francesca did, right. She dropped out of school in
Yeah.
order
His
to.
her brother too.
Yeah. Both Francesca and her brother both drop out from school. No, but the funny thing is, like, if you look at the story of Francesca, right, she has to go through PT, like physiotherapy, like physical therapy exercises by her doctors. Like, I don't know if that's the parents being disciplined or strict on her, or the parents just want to, like,
You know what? I need you to do all this shit so that you can later get out of my hair. Because the parenting on Francesca's side is like more of yeah, you know what? Do whatever you want. Just don't come and disturb me because I got my life and you've got yours. So just do your thing and beat it. And then if you look at Steve Young, right? His parenting styles were like, okay, we want you to do A, B, C, D, and E because you're staying with us, right? So, like all Steve Young had to do was like, okay, so does that mean that if I don't stay with you, I can quit?
And don't do any of this shitty stuff that you asked me
Yeah,
to do.
exactly. You know, it's like all I had to do was just get my own place, right? Just like every other 25-year-old would. They would just go get their own place. So, all I had to do was just get my own place and I don't have to deal with all this shitty shit.
You
Like,
know, it kind of sounds like, okay, I'm gonna use working in a company as a context you. The boss don't like you, but can't fire you, so he makes you do things that you don't like until you eventually resign. It kind of sounds like what Steve. Yeah,
yeah, it
you want to
really
live
does.
under my roof and all that. You do all these things. Oh, so I move out, get my own job, have my own money, pay my own rent. Then I don't have to do any of this shit. And the parents go, yeah, reverse psychology works. You gotta get out of the house.
He's finally out of our hair.
Yay, we are free.
we can go traveling now.
Wow.
I might
I did
consider
not see that.
Like, can
Yeah,
you
I might
imagine?
consider.
I can totally imagine Ray doing that to her kids later in the future, man. Like,
The pressure
Okay.
starts when they are 14. Say, oh, I can't wait to move out when I'm 18.
So it's like I don't know. When I look at Steve Young's story, that's what I thought. You know, I was like, if his mindset just shifted by that little bit, he wouldn't be who he is right now. And like for Francesca, like if she didn't like accept the fact that she had to do the physical therapy, she wouldn't be so happy right now. Like, you know, it really feels like, if you look at it in a slightly different way, Francesca's parents just basically didn't care about her and wanted her out of their hair as fast as possible.
And she grew up okay.
Sorry?
And she grew up okay.
Yeah, and she grew up okay. So it's like,
Just as gritty.
yeah.
I don't know. Did it say that she was just as gritty? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
she went through calling all the funny
people to be able to get her comedy act together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's funny because it's like, yeah, Francesca, what are you doing?
It seems like there's two extremes here. With Francesca, there's obviously a lot more liberty for her to pursue what she wants to do. And the parents' philosophy, from what we get from the story, is that okay, we just want you out of our way, get out of our hair as fast as possible. You can do anything that you want, fine, just do it. While for Steve, it was if you stay with us, then you have to do this, and we want you to do this because we want to fit in. But yet, both children still grow up to become well-adjusted adults, well-adjusted, gritty adults. So we are seeing two very extreme examples here, which I guess it comes, to show that there is no one fixed way on how to raise gritty kids. Because from Francesca's perspective, she has to figure everything out on her own.
Yep.
And she's armed with one thing, and that is her interest and her love to be calm. And it was there that led her far. I'm not sure about the other. I'm not sure about Steve. The one is at football. He became a sports star. Steve.
I think Steve was based on his father. His father used to be a
Yes.
footballer too.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
In Steve's story, the parents were definitely a lot more hands-on and involved. While Francesca, like, very hands-off, or parenting from afar, as Kenji puts it. Yeah, but still, they both sort of grew up to be okay.
Right. So that's why it's interesting, like looking at the both of them. But one thing for sure, right? Looking at the both of them is that Asian parenting is not the only way.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, can you imagine that instead of having her own room, Francesca had to sleep with her brother, okay, and she was throwing these kind of tantrums? Can you imagine that? Her brother would be like, hey, I want to go in and sleep, stop throwing stuff and getting pissy with that, you know? And then, like, instead of letting her have the chance to get angry and stuff, her parents be like, no, you either go for the physical exercise or I will whip you.
Now that's tough love, right?
Yeah, but it's like, can you imagine the mindset that she would have grown up with? I don't think she will end up being so positively gritty. She will be thinking that her life sucks all the time, you know?
Or her childhood sucks in this case, or her parents sucks.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I know I said that at the beginning of this thing, but yeah. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking at when I saw this. Right? So that's why Angela came up with this. Right? Permissive parenting, wise parenting, neglectful parenting, and authoritarian parenting. I personally think that all Asian parents are in authoritarian parenting. I'm sorry. I'm so bad.
Except for mine. Mine falls under permissive. It's like a hybrid between permissive parenting and neglectful parenting, actually, but more towards the permissive side. And it's like, yeah, they were not, recalling my own childhood, they were not demanding at all. So I have to demand of myself and set expectations on myself instead. Like, if let's say you take exam stuff, schooling as an example. My parents were totally fine if I don't get an A in science. They don't demand anything out of it. However, it is me that wants to get that A in science. So I end up pushing myself, studying harder to get that A as a result. But it didn't come from my parents. It came from me inside.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
like totally different from me, man.
your parents demand you to get A?
Yep.
Yeah, like I demanded myself because my parents always demanded from me.
How were they demanding, if you don't mind sharing? Because seriously, my parents were not demanding. So if we were to become parents ourselves, then how do we impose demands on our kids?
I personally think that the way you impose the demands on your kids are more important than actually demanding or not demanding of your kids. Because like from my own experience is like my parents will tell you, no, do this, no, do that, why you suck at this, why you suck at that kind of thing. And when parents do that, right, by necessity, it becomes a negative influence in your life.
Do you think so?
Yeah, because
When parents are too demanding, it becomes a negative influence and you start to view them in a more negative light.
like when I don't know about other people, but when parents start asking you for things, for like a form of success or another, things get very very annoying. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. I should stop. Okay, I stop now. Okay. Uh, so when your parents get demanding, things get very troublesome because like when they demand things and they don't do it. For example, if your parents demand you to sleep early, but you find them watching TV until 11:30, what's gonna happen is like, why you can and I cannot? You know, especially when the answer you give them is because I said so. And then like, who are you? I'm your mom. I'm like, what's that supposed to be? You know, does it mean because you make me and then I get to do everything that you want me to do? It's like, then why make me in the first place? Just do it yourself. But that's just me, right? Because I was brought up that way, so I place very strict demands on myself and the people around me because I've always thought that that is the norm. Because the adults around me place ridiculous demands on me. Like, Kenji, you're 25 years old. You don't have a house. What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm sorry. Can I bleep that out later?
Yeah, you can.
I'm gonna have to listen to the entire audio just to go and find that part so that I can bleep it out. Like, whoa.
Well, just remember that we are at we are at that diagram that shows the permissive wise parenting. Just remember that quadrant, then you know that you're there.
Yeah,
We're in
but
like 20 minutes to the show.
yeah, it's 47 minutes on my timer. So, but yeah, no, it's I don't know when you're given so much pressure, uh, without support, then it gets into a very troublesome situation. Like, especially support that you recognize. I mean, um, the next part of the chapter says this, which I think is really important. It's not so much of what you do to them, it's more of what they think of what you're doing to them. Like, oh, thanks, Eva. So, like, what was the word that I used? Yeah. When 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 people uh are held captive, there's that syndrome where they fall in love with the captor.
Stockholm
Stockholm.
syndrome.
Yeah, Stockholm syndrome, right? So I think the reason why Stockholm syndrome happens, or why certain forms of parenting are more effective, is because of this same reason. The people on the receiving end, the message that they receive is different. So if you're on the receiving end and you feel like, oh, my parents are doing this for my own good, my parents are doing this because it's justified for so and so and so reason, or I am doing this because it's justified for so and so and so reason, you get away with a lot of things. I've seen I've seen parents, right, discipline their kids via literal physical discipline. Like, it'll be in the house, they'll be having dinner, and the guy accidentally says something wrong, and then the father will be like, stare at him, and he goes down and does 50 push-ups, like, on the spot. And after that, when I ask him about it, he's like, oh no, that's just the way we are, it's fun. I'm like, what?
Fun. That's psychotic. I mean, like you just impose some kind of harsh punishment and then you say it's fun. In my opinion, that's no. That's an. I'm just speaking out loud because it's an article that I came across. That of a parent who said that whenever I smack my kids, I always do it with a gentle voice and with a smile. And the commentary is like, what? You're inflicting some kind of brutal, harsh punishment here, and obviously you're angry that the child has violated something, and yet you dare say that you still do it. You reprimand with a gentle voice and with a smile. That is beyond psychotic. It's conflicting. Like exactly what it says here. What matters more is the message that the child receives. So can you imagine what's the child has this conflicting signals coming from the parent?
Yeah, that's where the birth of bondage came from, I suppose.
You. Okay, you want to censor that out?
I don't know. I mean, like, why do these people like pain so much? Well, maybe because they receive all these mixed signals when they were younger, you know.
Yeah, I guess the main point is that it's the mixed signals. What is the child? What is the child receiving at this end? What is he or she interpreting from whatever you said as a parent or whatever you do as a parent?
Yep.
And
Yep.
like, okay, I like you said in the first example, child is sent to bed early, but yet the parents can stay up late. And if the parent doesn't sit down with the child and say, hey, there's a reason why we do this, is because as a child you're still growing up, you want to grow tall, right? So in order to grow, you need to have a certain amount of sleep, and this is based on scientific research, blah 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 blah. So as long as that is explained, then the child understands that for every action that he takes, there's a consequences. If you don't sleep, what's going to happen? You can't grow. You'll be cranky the next day.
Yep.
You can't do well in school because you're sleepy. So do you want to risk all of that? Then no, you go sleep.
No, that's so true, right?
Yeah. So what is the message they receive?
Yeah, which in fact I think this applies to everybody at any age. Like my mentor uses this all the time. He's like, he goes into a meeting, and then after a meeting he's like, okay, so what do you understand from the meeting? So that he has a gauge to see what's the message that you guys receive, or what's the message that we receive from that meeting. I think this is very powerful.
Atika, what do you think? You're the receiving end of this question all the time, anyway.
I don't know. Because I mean, like when I was young, I was a very naughty girl, right? So I used to receive hangings, pinch and everything. That time, there's only one thing that like struck in my mind was, I hate my parents that time. Why are they
Oh yeah.
inflicting this? Yeah, because because sometimes the punishment that I received was not fair, because it usually I mean, like, caused by my younger siblings and stuff, and they blame it on me because I was the eldest.
Mm.
So I was like, this is not fair. And whenever I tried to voice out my opinion, they're gonna be like, um you are not respecting the elders, for voicing out your opinion and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
the only thing that runs in my mind that time was like, I don't like this. Okay, why are you doing this to me? And I'll be like, if I got a child, I mean, like, if I have my own kids, I am not gonna do this. Yeah. So yeah, that's that. And my parents doesn't actually like come back to me and say like, oh wait, I did think my mom come back. Sometimes my mom will come into my room and say like, okay, the reason that we did this is because we want you to be like, an example for your siblings and stuff. By that time, I was like, you're full of hatred and you're full of negativity. You'll be like, mom, whatever you say doesn't masuk my head now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think it's like, yeah, it must be tough growing up with parents that in a way it feels like they don't respect your point of view,
Mm.
and they don't allow you to even voice out your say on the matter. And you're a human being. You have your rights, you have your issues, and you have your perspective. That's the most important thing. And so I guess as parents, there's a tendency to forget that. It's like, I'm your mom. You listen to what I say. You you live under the same roof, and that sort of thing. So hats off to your mom who actually came and tried to talk to you, but maybe you haven't calmed down yet. So whatever you say is not gonna muscle. No way lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents never do that sort of things. They don't like sit down. They never communicate. It's just like forgotten in time. Then that bygone be bygone. And actually, that's not good in my opinion, because like I don't feel respected as an individual, and I'm not aware that certain actions that I do creates that consequences. Mm. But having said that, I think we are talking more about parenting now rather than gritty parenting, but it's okay. It's all part of the discussion.
Well,
Thanks for
it is
sharing.
parenting for grit, so parenting is necessary part of it. So hey, I I I
Hey,
I kind of feel for you, like that you feel that your parents neglect you as an individual and stuff like that. But um, yeah, this part's kind of
Avi.
this part's kind of close to the heart. So
Mm.
like while I was growing up, right, I would hear. You know what? Let's take this to the personal section later.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't think it's very suitable to share this part because it's not my story to share. So I think I'll share this with you guys, but I won't share it in the public chat.
Okay.
Well, one of the things that happened to me, right, when I was growing up was that my parents would say this to me. You have to follow what I say because you're staying under my roof, right? And there was a period of time, right, with them saying that all the time. I just wanted to get away from the house because I felt that getting away from the house means I could do whatever I want.
Mm.
I learned that that was a bad mentality to keep because yes, when I stayed outside the house, I could do whatever I want, but it also meant that I didn't care about what happened in the house anymore because it was like, no, I'm finally out of the house. I can don't care, so I will don't care. I ended up not taking care of my health. I ended up not taking care of my parents. I ended up not taking care of a lot of things that usually would form in a loving family, right? So that's why I don't think that sentence is a good idea. In fact, one of the things that oh, I'm
Isn't that?
sorry. The new mic is really dusty, so it's getting all up my face. And because it's so close to my face, it's anyway. Um, when we talk about so much on parenting, right? Angela actually mentions that about wise parenting. So, if we take a look at wise parenting, right? She has some questions that we can take a look at, you know, to see how we feel about our parenting or how our parents were, right? So what do you guys think? Here are the questions. Do you relate more to supportive, to respectful, to demanding? What do you think your parents are like?
Mine is permissive. My parents give me a lot of freedom. That one is correct.
Mine is more like a mixture of respectful and demanding.
Yeah?
Yeah, because some of the things are in demanding, some of the things are in like respectful. I mean, I do get a lot of freedom. Because my mom was like, when I was young,